What's up YouTube? Brandon Relkam here today with a new YouTube video. In this video I will be giving my basic guide to freshman year of high school and just the things you should know about being a freshman in high school. So before I continue any further with this video, don't forget to leave a like on the video, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you will not miss a video when I upload it. With that being said, let's get right into it. So if you will be a freshman in the 2020 to 2021 school year, I just want to start this off by saying congratulations, you made it through middle school, the nightmare is just beginning. When I was in 8th grade, I heard people say, you know, the high school's just another building. No. That was a completely false statement. My first year of high school was a completely different experience compared to middle school, and during this video I'm going to be talking about some of my personal experiences with the points I'm going to talk about, and also some of these points I'm going to give are just based off of common knowledge and common sense too. So first thing I want to talk about is the workload in first year of high school. So when you get to high school, it may or may not start off slow. It just depends on how each school does their stuff, really. Like personally, the workload for me wasn't too bad. You know, first few weeks at high school, then it got progressively bigger and bigger, and then, you know, marking period or two later, the workload was ridiculous, but I pulled myself through it. So there's going to be a lot more work than compared to middle school. You're going to get a lot more assignments to complete, whether they're in class or homework. There will be more tests and they'll occur more frequently. With those tests and quizzes, you gotta do studying for them. It's not something you can just walk into unprepared, because most likely you're gonna fail. And also you will have, most likely, depending on how your teachers run their classes, you'll have more projects. So you're gonna have to watch out for that. And with all the work that you receive, you'll have to build up good responsibility skills and also a lot of time management skills. And just my little philosophy, if you really want to succeed in getting your work done, is get your work done early and get it done right. And the reason I say that is because if you put stuff off too late and you procrastinate, like I did way too much, you're gonna be up way too late at night doing homework assignments, and then you're just gonna be miserable. And I'm gonna get further into that in the next point, which is sleep. So when you get into high school, sleep becomes very important. You know, your body's going through changes and all that stuff. You probably already had that talk already. If you didn't, I don't know why you didn't, but you probably will get it at some point, probably during health class. But sleep becomes more important in high school, you know, as you mature and develop, and you biologically you need more sleep as a teenager. And it's a shame that some school districts fail to recognize that, but I'm not gonna ramble on about that. So as I was saying, get your stuff done early in terms of assignments. Get to bed at a decent time, whether, you know, it's maybe a little past 10, maybe a little before 10. Just get a good, I don't know, 6 to 8 hours of sleep, just so you won't feel completely miserable through the day. And one thing that I really suggest doing, you probably don't want to hear this, but put your phone away when you're about to go to sleep, even if it's just like, I don't know, by a shelf near your bed or something. Just get any kind of distraction that'll keep you awake away from you, so then you can sleep better. So yeah, get enough sleep, and if you don't, you're gonna feel lousy and miserable. You're gonna feel burnt out the whole school day, and Take it from me, I've had tons of experiences with that. I was like, let's see, on average, because combined with the workload that I had and also my horrible procrastination issue, if I was lucky, I'd probably get anywhere from maybe 4 to 5 hours of sleep if I was lucky. And most of the time, I'd be running anywhere from 2 to 3 hours of sleep, and it is just a horrible way to live if you're in high school and you're doing that. Like, I always told myself, just get through the day and just get your stuff done, then go to bed. And it is such, it's a miserable way to live, really. And I don't recommend doing it, not at all. And another thing that I do want to bring up is that if you don't get enough sleep, you may end up falling asleep in class. Now, some teachers handle falling asleep in class very differently. Some teachers just let it slide if, they're nice and they really don't care. And some teachers are just nasty about it. They'll make an example out of you. Thankfully, I've never had to deal with something like that where a teacher gave me crap about sleeping in class. And anybody who knows me, who's in class with me, knows that I have a history of sleeping in class. And yeah. But yeah, for that, just get enough sleep. Next thing I want to talk about pertaining to high school is drama. Now, high school drama is vastly different from any drama you may encounter in middle school. Now, when I was in middle school, I don't think there's ever been a fight. There may have been, but nothing that I can remember off the top of my head. Now, in high school, that changed for me. I witnessed a fight with my own eyes. I saw one that somebody recorded, and also I heard maybe like 2 or 3 other fights that happened. If you ever see a fight going on, do not get involved. Don't get involved. If you do, there's one of 2 things that could happen. One, you could end up getting beaten senselessly. Or 2, you could end up getting in trouble. Or if you're really unlucky, 3, a combination of 1 and 2. And you definitely don't want either of those. So, yeah, if you see a fight going on, don't get involved. You don't do anything to escalate it. And obviously with high school fights, there's always that one person who pulls out their phone and recording. I really recommend that you don't do that, because I know that you can get into trouble for recording a fight, and especially if you put it on social media. But I know that you can get into trouble for posting a school fight on social media. I don't know anybody who got in trouble for that, but I know there have been people who recorded fights and put it on social media. With high school drama, you'll hear a lot of gossip. Whether it's about somebody's relationship with somebody, girlfriends and boyfriends, that kind of stuff, or anything really. It may be tempting to talk about that kind of stuff, but I really recommend that you don't, because if you say something and it gets back to the person you're talking about, it may look really bad for you, and if you're really unlucky, you're probably going to get beat up for talking about somebody behind their back. I really don't recommend getting into gossip about people. In middle school, as I was saying before, you're gonna notice changes in people, and I'm not gonna go on that whole spiel, because you probably already heard it. But just the basics about that. There'll be physical and emotional changes in people. You will start to see them, grow a little mustache or maybe some facial hair. and obviously they're gonna mature physically, um, emotionally. It's different for everybody, along with the physical changes. So, you know, thing that I have noticed with some of those emotional changes is that people feel that they need to be a part of everything. They feel they need to conform to what everybody else is doing. Whether it's playing a sport, wearing a certain brand of clothes, or anything. What I have to say about that is just be yourself. Don't try to be something you're not. Because, I don't know, some people may not like that. I really don't know how to word it. Just be yourself. And with those emotional changes in people, you may notice that some people who used to be your really close friends may start hanging out with other people, and don't take that as they're intentionally trying to push you away, because I'm sure they don't mean that, but that stuff's gonna happen in high school, and don't take it too personally if it does. Now, with people hanging out with different people, those people may end up becoming a kind of person you didn't expect them to be. They may end up turning into a really nasty person, and if you ever have to encounter that, number one, I'm really sorry, and number two, you just kind of gotta move on and just forget about them. Because if they want to be nasty to you, don't let them into your life. Just push them out and forget about them. Another thing that I want to bring up for these changes in people is that mentally some people may change. I don't want to go on a whole mental health ramble, because I'm sure that's another part of the talk you received. But if you notice people are doing stuff they shouldn't be, whether they're doing substances they shouldn't be consuming, or they're doing stuff that could put their lives or other people's lives at risk, please talk to your school guidance counselor or some kind of trusted adult and report it, just so nothing bad happens to that person that may be doing concerning actions, or could affect other people. Just talk to a trusted adult if you notice anything suspicious going on. Another thing that I want to bring up in this video are lockers. Now, I don't know how your high school may handle lockers. I know in my high school, lockers are optional. You don't have to have them. And I never did get one this year, which I should have, but I was a little stubborn and didn't get one. The way I see it is, if you have a lot of stuff that you have to bring to school, whether it's sports equipment or textbooks, anything for class, and you are constantly bringing it to school, to and from school, get a locker so that way you can store it in there and get it when you need it, rather than constantly carrying it around in your backpack or another bag and risking some kind of back injury. I'm surprised I didn't have back problems this year from how heavy my backpack was. But yeah, if you don't have a whole lot of stuff, then I guess you don't need to bother getting one. That's really all that I have to talk about lockers, really. Now, in high school, you will have different schedules that differ from, let's say, your friends. You will be separated from your friends, and don't be surprised when that happens. Depending on what classes you have, you may have classes with upperclassmen, and if you're lucky, the upperclassmen will be nice to you. I know the upperclassmen that I've had classes with, they always treated me well, and I never had problems with them. And also, it's always good to have some kind of schedule with you, even if it's just a piece of paper with your classes on it, the room number, or the location, and the time it starts and ends. I always found that helpful to have. I had a screenshot of my schedule on my school computer, and that was always nice to have, so I knew when classes would start and end. High school gym class differs from middle school gym class in my opinion, or at least in my experience it did. In high school it was, at least in my freshman year, it was more focused on personal fitness, whereas in middle school it was more sports orientated. And anybody who knows me knows that I'm not a sports person, I'm not really athletic, and I never really liked middle school gym, but this year I found a gym to be more enjoyable. It's definitely more intense than middle school in my opinion, because you might be doing a lot more running and vigorous activity, so that's something to keep in mind. Bring and use deodorant. Once again, with the physical changes in people, during gym class you're going to get really hot and sweaty, and nobody wants to be smelling you afterwards. So put on some deodorant. The grading in gym class may be a little bit more stricter. I know it kind of was stricter this year compared to middle school, because it was based more on activity compared to just showing up with the gym clothes on and participating. This year it was definitely more strict. With gym class, and you probably will hear this countless times, always have comfortable shoes on. Even if it's just a pair of sneakers. Don't wear shoes that you wouldn't run in to gym class, because if you do, you're going to be really uncomfortable and miserable the whole time. Next thing I want to talk about are the grades in high school. In high school, grades really start to matter, because once you graduate, if you're going to college, the colleges will look at your grades, and if you didn't have good grades, you probably won't get into good colleges. And I don't know if you're going to get a job if employers look at your grades or not, but it's always good to have good grades just so you can succeed into the future. Keep your grades up. Now, you don't have to have all A's, you don't have to have a 4.0 GPA. Just do the best you can and keep your grades up. So once you get into high school, you'll have the option to choose, or not the option, you'll be choosing classes. Be mindful of the credits you'll earn from the classes you pick if you pass them, because that will be very important for graduating high school. Always pick classes that are at your level and that you're interested in. If let's say you're a music person and you're not a big cooking person, don't pick any cooking classes, because you're not going to be interested in the class and you're not going to find it enjoyable. So pick classes that you find enjoyable, interesting, and also offer good credits. A thing in middle school that I cannot stress enough is pertaining to your devices and how you use them. If you're bringing personal devices to school, even not just personal devices, but even your school issued devices, whether it be a Chromebook, a tablet, or anything, use those devices responsibly. I can't tell you how many times I've heard about people getting their school computers taken away, or gotten in trouble because they had apps on their computer that they shouldn't have. Social media, games. I know at my school there's a strict no games on your computer policy. I've also heard horror stories about school administrators getting into people's social media accounts because they had their social media accounts logged in to their computers, and I can't stress it enough. Use your devices responsibly. If you bring your phone to school, don't let it distract you, whether it's in class, in the hallways, even cafeteria, the lobby. anywhere in the school. Don't let your phone become a distraction, because then say you're walking in the hallway and you bump into somebody, that's going to irritate the person because you weren't paying attention. With the phones, or any device, don't be on them unnecessarily, especially with the phones. Teachers hate it when you're on your phone and not paying attention to them or the work you're doing, and that irritates them really badly, as I just said. And one last thing for the devices, bring a charging cable. I can't tell you how many times I've, seen people have to charge their school computers because they didn't charge them the night before, or sometimes people whining that their phone's almost dead. Bring a phone charger, because I don't know if you know this or not, but if you have a school issued computer, you can use the USB port to charge your phone. You connect the cable into the USB port, plug it into your phone, and it starts charging. So yeah, bring a charging cable, and while you're charging your phone with the computer USB port, if a pop-up message that says, do you want to allow this device to access your photos, just click don't allow, because another thing that you can do with that USB port is you can export photos and videos from your phone onto your computer. So that's important to know if you ever have to take a picture for school and you need to get it on your school computer. And last thing that I want to talk about is the first impression. Make a good first impression, especially when it's your first year in high school. Because if you don't make a good first impression, then you're not really going to look good for your teachers for the rest of the year. You may be able to redeem yourself, but it's always good to look nice and act nice on the first day of school, especially in your freshman year. So that was my little basic guide to high school. Hope you liked it. If you did, leave a like on the video. If you didn't like it, I don't know what to say. And I'll see you in my next video.